What's up, everyone? It's Sterling Brown of the Combot Collective, covering everything you want to know about the 2021 Battlebots season, as we are now less than a month away from the 2021 Battlebots premiere on January 6th. We are now beginning our 9-part Battlebots 2021 preview, covering all 60-plus competitors in this season, as we are now doing our first two parts of the series right here. The first 19 robots in the field, and our first two parts, the NorCal and SoCal region, our two largest parts, in fact. I'm going to be sat in with my team of U.S. correspondents, TaskMaster Yin and PoryNog, as we dive into the birthplace of robot combat, and I do apologize ahead of time. Obviously, it's nice to have the brand new studio set up. I am happy to show it off finally, but there are some things still a bit iffy. Obviously, as you can tell, it's still a little bit echoey. And during these first two parts, I was using the backup mic because I thought it was going to work a little bit better. I was still experimenting with some things. And I turned out not liking it. As you can see, I already switched to the Blue Yeti mic to do the intro and outro. But so I do apologize for that. We're still working out some kinks with the setup, but we do promise that every week we want to make this thing a little bit better and a little bit more exciting for y'all. But yeah, before we jump into this, you can follow along by pulling up the Combot Collective Battlebots 2021 info sheet. You saw it on Reddit and Facebook earlier in the year. You can also find it on our Instagram bio and all of our social media pages. And you can also expect a lot more of us from this month. Of course, outside of the 9-part Battlebots series that we're doing, we're also going to be covering Robot Ruckus, the Orlando Maker Fair event that happened about a month ago. And on top of that, we will be covering Antweight World Series 62 in that following week. And then the week after that, we will be covering Robots Live in Crawley, and we'll be dabbling a little bit into the Saudi Arabian event that Robots Live also did this recent November. As always, you can keep up with all of our stuff by following along on Facebook or Instagram, or by joining our Discord server. And you can watch, download, rate, and review our podcast and show on YouTube, Spotify, Audible, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts now, and many other podcast networks that you can find us on. And of course, you can find all of these links on our Linktree, which are on all of our social media pages. And now let's quit talking and let's dive into the 2021 Battlebots Preview, our first chunk of it, at least.
Welcome to the Combot Collective.
So we're going to open up this preview with our SoCal region, starting off with a newcomer robot, but not a full-blown rookie, captained by Aaron Hill, in fact, the prior captain of Tantrum for the past few seasons. Part of Team Seems Reasonable Robotics, coming in with a brand new style of weapon, the flywheel power flipper. Running off kinetic energy, it's Blip, which is probably one of the most touted rookies of this new season.
I'd agree with that.
100% agree. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like out of all the rookies, Blip probably has the most hype behind it currently.
Yeah,
I think it being related to Tantrum gives it a big boost and hype behind it.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
definitely.
Especially after such a good season. I mean, and this is a design, they've always been wanting to do something revolutionary with a flipper. We remember them doing something similar with 2018 Tantrum with what I think was the Choo Choo system, I think is what it was.
What's that
But
like the what's that
it
like the
didn't work
spring?
too well. It was that little goofy
Yeah,
flipper it had, yeah.
it's like a
It was like
spring powered
springy.
flipper.
And this thing's spring powered too, right? I remember something like the system from that
It's like
preview video they had.
yeah, it's like I think the kinetic energy, like the faster it spins, the more power it builds down. I think springs are involved in it. I could be wrong because I haven't seen the internals of it. I
Here
think
we
it's
go.
something along those lines.
Yeah,
Feel free to tell me how dumb I am in the comments. You know.
we got our own little thing here. It utilizes a twisted cord actuator as a variable ratio transmission from the flywheel to the flipper. And it has
Okay.
a custom-built clutch system for its weapon with the core of the system machined by... Oh, no, that's a sponsor
Yeah.
thing. I'm
People.
working off everything. Anyway, but yeah, I mean, this is a brand new system. I don't think this is the first time it's been tried in the heavyweight. I don't think it's been done. It's been done in some smaller
Warrior
classes,
Clan.
right? Actually, you know what? You're right.
Clan had something more, but
Warrior
Warrior
Clan
Clan
had
had
it.
something similar.
It was
Something
internal.
similar. It's not exact.
Not exact,
Yeah.
but that's true. That was really ahead of its time for
It's a
its time.
similar concept, and the robot that applied Warthog was to have a similar concept as well, but they unfortunately got rejected.
Warhawk
Yeah.
from Series 4, or
Warthog,
was this a
it's-
different robot?
No, just a new robot. It was
Oh,
it
Warhawk,
was,
yes, the Vegas bot. I'm
offshoot
sorry.
of
The
offshoot
Vegas
of the
bot.
Jackpot team.
Yeah. Oh, man.
That
Poor
would have been
guys.
cool.
I bet
to
they're
see.
kicking themselves for not getting accepted, considering it's in Vegas now.
Kind of
Yeah.
wish they got
So,
accepted,
I bet they
but
will.
that'd be cool.
If it's in Vegas next year, they'll probably be there, because it's a pretty fantastic design. I hope it ends up happening, but I
It's a neat
digress.
thing, yeah.
We're talking about Blip here. I'm really excited for this robot. We saw it in the previews. To keep it minimal, it looks exciting. It looks like it has that flipping potential we've all talked about. I don't know if it's going to be a roof robot, but it's definitely going to be very fascinating to see this thing in action.
Yeah, it can be very interesting to see if there's going to be a roof robot this year, other than Hydra.
I think
And-
we're still a few years off from a ceiling hit, but I do think it's gonna happen like this decade.
It might
But I don't
happen
think
from
it's
a
gonna
vert
happen this
before another robot. Come to think of it, Gigabyte spinner almost hit the roof last year with Copperhead.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
close.
Yeah, but with Blip definitely seems like more of a forward-powered flipper. Well, kind of more of in the vein of a Blip flipper. It definitely has more airtime than the usual Brit flipper, but yeah, it doesn't seem like it's going to hit the roof. And even in the tantrum testing videos and in the preview, it seems like it get halfway there, or even higher, but definitely not more
It'll still
directly
be good.
upward like Hydra. It'll definitely be good. It'll be a contender, especially if it's nearly as durable as Tantrum, because Tantrum was absolute brick, and it's pretty much
Well,
built
no, that
with the
you
same
know-
base.
You know it's
Yeah.
going to be driven well, too.
yeah.
Absolutely. Aaron Hill's moved
Because
pretty
that-
much his half of the team there to the Blip crew. It's going to be an absolutely solid robot. Of course, it's always tricky to juggle two robots, but they have a very large team, especially now that some restrictions have been lifted to where you can have
Yeah,
that
I
big
think they'll
team
be
now.
fun.
They'll be good. And but Aaron Hill's been busy. He's even said like he's done as much work on Tantrum this year as he's done Blip, even though he's captaining Blip. So yeah, I mean
Yeah.
it's simple looking, it's sleek. You know, it has the front
Yep.
forks, which are taking over the sport. You can't help it. It's a fantastic looking robot, though. I'm super excited for it. It's probably one of my most anticipated rookies.
I agree.
Definitely wish I could have got on the King of Draft team. Where do you guys think this robot's going to end up? Do you think it's going to be a championship contender in its first season, or do you think it's going to have a bit more of a slower route?
I think
definitely-
it will finish pretty
High expectations
well.
for sure. I think it's going to make 32 for sure.
Oh,
Even off
definitely.
like even off like Oogie season, as long as it gets to the 2-1 mark, it'll definitely be fine.
I don't know if it'll make
Yeah.
it like past like round of eight, but I think it will definitely make 32.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I think
that's
its cap
kinda
could be
where
the
I am.
round of 8. I think it can make the round of 8, but we'll have to see. I don't know. Tantrum, I thought was only gonna. I thought its cap was round of 8 last year, and it definitely made it. Well, at least one
Yeah.
round further. So, Aaron Hill's behind the wheel. Aaron Hill's definitely one of the most underrated drivers. Probably not so much now after Tantrum's finished last year, but I'm pretty excited for Blip. I'm right. I want more flippers. We need more flippers, and it seems like
Yes.
the word is that the corner UDA zones are still there, even though they've walled off the toaster slots. So
The
the
toasters.
chance are still there. Maybe they'll make use of the upper deck. We'll have to see. I definitely think they'll be good. I definitely think it'll be a playoff bot. Hopefully it'll make top 8. I definitely hope they do good because we need more flippers. We definitely need more flippers.
I know we almost got like 4 or 5 Brit flippers this year, but unfortunately
Yeah.
the COVID stuff went back in.
Yeah, so much for all of that. Hopefully we'll have Ripper sooner rather than later. I really want Ripper in
Yeah.
this.
Yeah,
Ripper,
would be cool.
Apollo,
Yeah. So
good
think
old
that-
boy.
up now we have
Yeah, I
Blip.
think
So
that's all.
Blip, closest thing we got to a Brit flipper.
for now at least, it's not a Brit flipper. It's a Blip flipper.
I
Oh.
see.
But
Not wrong.
that's our first SoCal region bot. First in our regional setup. Let's move on to the next robot. So now we move on from one rookie robot from a veteran team to another. This robot recently came out once the new season was announced, but got some hype very quick. It's based off a very successful featherweight robot from the same team that has Whiplash and many robots before it, Fast Electric Robotics, captained by the brother of top driver Matt Vasquez, Jason Vasquez, finally getting his shines. It's a full body clamp lifter, kind of in the same vein as Hypothermia and Polar Vortex, armed with the flamethrower as well, which is going to be very exciting. Seems like it has a much wider mouth than those two robots. Has a lot of potential, I think, especially with the upper deck now. What do y'all think about this new robot?
Well, it's Defender. That's what we're talking about. I don't think you said the name of the robot, but
Why not?
I'm
Yeah,
pretty
it's
sure you didn't.
Defender. I have a thing here. I'll have test footage of Defender, but yeah, I guess I didn't say the name. I thought I said the name. My bad.
Yeah, it's a Defender. It's come, like you said, from the Vasquez family. It's it's a modern take on the 150-gram robot, Krabby, that they built. It looks to be pretty fucking cool, from what I've seen. To be honest with you. Pretty cool.
Yeah. It's got a neat concept behind it. It's you
The
can
grabber.
clamp down and then there's additional legs like in between the wedgelets sort of, and those legs have like little wheels on them, so like it can clamp down, but then the bottom thing can also actuate, and then the whole thing can like lift up, and that's going to be really fun if it actually works.
The wheels are a bonus too, because it could theoretically control other robots easier if they're in the claw.
Oh yeah.
Because it could roll instead of having to scrape on the ground like a lot of other grabbers.
Oh yeah, that's definitely going to be an advantage for them.
Oh man, look at that. That's such a good setup.
But yeah, Defender just looks really cool. Like it could clamp down, it can roll around with the robot in the air theoretically, and blast it with virus a la complete control versus Bombshell in 2016, and it's just going to be really really cool. And it has shown in tests that it can lift up a lot of weight, and it should be a lot of fun to see it do it to an actual robot. I do worry, however, about it fighting spinners because it does seem like I'm sure they have like a horizontal setup and stuff, but I do
That's
kind of
fair, yeah.
worry like how much can it hold up against a spinner.
For sure. I mean, I think with the upper deck, this is definitely one of those robots, along with Slammo, who we'll get to much later. But this is definitely one of those robots who can make huge use of the upper deck, easily prop robots up there without having to deal with it much itself. I think with that, it has some potential. But yeah, with so much, there's a lot of small bits and parts in that front fork setup. And if any, especially a horizontal spinner, if anything catches up into that, it's gonna just rip it apart.
It's gonna be tough. Also, isn't Rob Masick on the team?
Yes, Rob
Lucky
Masick.
and Bite Force.
Yeah. He coming from Bite Force. I don't know if he's done anything the past 2 seasons. I think he might have been with
No,
someone.
I don't think so. He was on Bite Force in 20.
Oh yeah, he was with Bite Force 2019 with 2020. Yeah, he wasn't with anyone in 2020. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he took the year off, but now he's on the Defender team. I mean, he definitely has the credentials. I mean, being
Absolutely.
on a champion team, and now he's on. I mean, granted, the team Fast Electronics or Fast Electric robots, is that the team name?
Fast Electric Robot.
I mean, they definitely have a lot of credibility to themselves. I mean, Whiplash obviously is
For
one of
sure.
the best bots in the field.
Yeah,
It is good, especially with a brand new robot. And it's even though it has been done some with Polar Vortex and Hypothermia, it is still a fairly untested and improving concept. Especially with this, and this is a brand new take on it. I love the claw. I love everything about it. I definitely worry about it fighting a bot like a Sawblaze or a Scorpius with that overhead weapon. I feel like that's an easy target. But other than that, it definitely looks like it has potential. I definitely think it can make the 32, but I don't know how far it can go.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm standing with it. I do think it's going to get a nice win or two, although I feel like, a lot of teams are very hesitant about fighting, like, their teammate robots. Like, Team Waiachi's gone on record being like, we don't want, like, Sal and Hydra fighting because it wouldn't be beneficial to it. But it seems like Whiplash and Defender do want to get into a fight. And that would be, like, a really fun thing to see, even though I think Whiplash would definitely win it.
Them and, forgot to bring it up earlier, Blip, both of those teams have expressed that that's probably their dream match fight right there, is to have that chance to go at it.
Did they say that? I actually didn't hear about that.
Yeah, I think they said it in the Behind the Bots podcast. One of those.
That'd be a fun fight to see.
They said they would really win it in the finals, though, which obviously makes sense. But
That's fair. Yeah.
I
Something
mean,
that'd
yeah,
be very interesting to me is to see how Jason compared to the driver to his brother, because I've never actually seen him drive a heavyweight.
He's driven Whiplash in a few fights.
he
And
drove
he's been
Whiplash
pretty
in
good doing it.
the Bite Force fight in Las Vegas, and that ended up with a tire in the roof. But that's Bite Force, you know. And Bite
Yeah,
Force and
yeah.
Tombstone have
I mean,
always
come
been
on.
Whiplash's kryptonite. Outside of
Would you
that,
say he's a better? Would you say he's as good of a driver?
I guess that has to be proven. I mean, Matt
Yeah.
Vasquez is probably like top 3 in the world right now, if you ask like a casual fan, even
Yeah,
some veteran
he's
fans.
crazy.
Yeah, he's a
Yeah,
fantastic
he's a
driver.
beast with it for sure.
I mean,
but I want to say didn't Jason drive Whiplash in like some fight in 2020 or 2019? I could have sworn he did at some point. I don't know. I could be wrong, but
he might have. I think
might
he's shown
not even
Whiplash, or at least Splatter at some point. Or maybe Whiplash at both
yeah.
games, but he definitely drove something at some point.
Like I'm pretty sure he's a good driver, but it is tricky. Like, is he better than Matt? You know, because. But then again, if you're not better than Matt, that's not really like an insult. Because
Absolutely
Yeah.
not.
like you said, like S tier driver.
I mean,
We'll find out if we get that fight.
you're already working with your back against the wall if you're a control bot, especially in Battlebots right now. And like I said, maybe the upper deck's going to change that, and we'll have to see.
Yeah.
It's definitely one of those robots that are going to test that area a lot, and I hope it ends up having a good run. I hope it ends up making it far. I don't have the same fan pettiness as I do against Whiplash, so you know, I hope it does good. I tried getting on the
Yeah.
King of Draft team, but someone got before me. What are you going to do? And
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited about it. It's kind of a new weapon design. It's always good to see robot variety in BattleBots. But now let's move on to our next robot. So now we're here. We're moving on to our third robot here in the SoCal region, and our first true veteran coming back after missing the 2019 season. It's one of the most unique robots in the entire tournament, and a real favorite of mine. It's Double Jeopardy, captained by Evan Wooley, part of Team Double Trouble, who of course has been around forever, even in the classic era with Troublemaker. It's the only cannon robot in all of Robot Combat and the first projectile robot since Neptune in the super heavyweight division back in season 3.0. Even though it's coming in with its career record of 1-4, every single time it's shot its weapon, except once, it has made contact with its opponents. And this year, I have to say, when I was making the info list for this event, I guess it is for this Battlebots event. Double Jeopardy really impressed me the most. And with the new changes, it has the new triple shot, of course. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Pory. It has the brushless drive. It's really fantastic because I think that the big thing that Double Jeopardy has, it has a real chance to have something that no other robot has. They have a chance to get away with bringing a 4-wheel drive wedge into BattleBots, essentially. Even after they lose weight from the cannon, you know, you can at least rattle them with that, and you can control them for a good portion of the fight. I mean, you have a chance. The judges can be kind of iffy, but I have to be honest, I am really excited for Double Jeopardy this year. I think there might be a bit of potential.
Oh yeah, I 100% agree. I mean, it's isn't it a 6-wheel drive robot?
Yes, that's
Is it? Yes, it is this year. I don't know if it was originally, but it
Yeah,
definitely is this
it
year.
was before.
Yeah.
But yeah, because I feel like with the better drive, like even when it fought Rainbow and Extinguisher, I feel like it could have won that fight if it had better pushing power. Like when it's like, because you know 90% of that fight was it and Rainbow pushing each other, and Rainbow just slightly had the edge with that.
No, that was
I
brutal.
feel like they would have won that fight if they could have pushed.
They just
But
had to live.
another thing that you forgot to mention is that not only did it hit 4 out of 5 things, but all 4 of those times it damaged the weapon of the robot. Lucky's weapon stopped working. Gamma 9's weapon stopped working. Mecha Rampage weapon still worked, but like it was
had a
messed up.
chunk
Like, it was like crashed
missing.
real bad.
That was such an awesome
what was the Daisy Cutter? They pretty much dislodged Daisy
I
Cutter.
think it shut down like one of the side. Oh no, that's right. It dislodged the spinner.
Yeah, because with the NDA bullet.
It's frustrating because it's not the most satisfying weapon. You know, it makes these hits, but you know, everyone ever realizes the impact of the hit. You know, it goes so fast, it's literally a bullet. Even with the confetti, you know what I mean? But
yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Definitely.
It's just it's got a lot of potential. I mean, and that's it dialed down because Double Jeopardy would actually be a lot more powerful. It's just wouldn't be safe
Yeah,
for it to
wouldn't
be
be
any more
safe for
powerful
the
than it
arena.
is, like because it would probably like go through the Lexington and kill someone, which
It's
we don't want.
insane. That robot has so much prep. When I was at the 2019 BattleBots, they were doing it in Rumble, that awful Rumble. Good lord! But there was a whole like 10-minute setup of them like getting like it all pumped up and ready. I don't know the
Mhm.
correct term, but it's absolutely fantastic robot. We were bringing it up before we were just filming this. It has a new GoPro camera setup. That's
Oh
going to
yeah,
be
the
awesome to see
cameras.
in action. I'm sure they're going to talk about that a bit. And hopefully that
Would
really
love
comes
to
out.
see them put footage from that camera in the fight.
Oh, I definitely
Like
think we'll see
end of
that.
the
As
win.
long as it doesn't break, but those GoPros are pretty solid.
Like slam cam style.
Right? That's something that'll probably definitely be on their Facebook or something like that. Something you gotta look forward to seeing.
I wanna see footage of that, and I want to hear Kenny scream "Slam Cam" like how Bill Dwyer
Oh,
used to
Yes.
talk about.
Bill used to do that. Oh my God. I wish they made more use of those that they had the sponsorship out in 2018, but I digress. I wish I
They
guess
all broke.
yeah, I guess they did all break.
They were
But
dropping $8,000 cameras every fight.
man,
Yeah, they didn't think that one through.
they had some good footage though. I really did think those were cool. But
Oh yeah, 100%.
Double Jeopardy. It's a fascinating robot. I mean, it's a shed built robot. You don't have many of those left nowadays. Like even the cannon from the robot itself, that stuff was found in the scrapyard. And like we were talking about, it's 3 for 5, and it's confirmed cannon shots. It's absolutely fantastic looking this year. They have the brushless drive. It's going to have some significant power and hopefully some durability to actually fight after the
Yeah,
fact. And even then, it had multiple shots in 2019, but they were very rarely ever able to capitalize on it because
yeah,
of
it just didn't work,
it didn't
unfortunately.
work. Now they have a proper brand new loading system. That's what the
Hmm.
brand new compressor is on top of the robot. It's going to be a very exciting thing to see in action. I don't know if it's top 32 material. I'm not going to rule it out. It's going to have to get some
Yeah,
fights. Because that's the one thing. It was always a robot good for the Rumbles. Because I had that
yeah.
multiple target scenario.
Here's the thing with Double Jeopardy. Well, for one, there aren't going to be rumbles this year. I'm pretty sure. So
Nope.
I mean,
It's
granted,
going
I
to have
bet
to
you
go one on
anything.
one.
It's not confirmed at all. I bet you anything. Its first fight is going to be Jaeger. I bet you anything. It's going to be
Oh,
its first round fight.
that's a good call.
And I don't know.
Probably.
I have no inside information. So if I'm
Like,
correct,
give it four
it's
horsemen
literally
twice.
me
I mean,
guessing.
yeah.
Yeah, like they're gonna fight
It'll-
Jaeger first round. But also, my bold prediction is I don't think they're gonna make top 32, but they're gonna get a win this year.
Oh,
Mark
I
my
would love to
words.
see Double Jeopardy get a win. Even if they have a really bang up fight where they aren't able to get through. We saw the pit footage. We know that they have some Double Jeopardy with them. So hopefully they could run for a good part of the series. I mean, we haven't seen any footage yet, but this is probably
Yeah.
one of the most ones I'm most excited to see in action. Every year it is, and every year I kind of get disappointed because, like we said, sometimes it's hard to make out the weaponry. But
Yeah.
I always get super excited for it. It's such a cool robot. It stands out of every other robot in the sport, and I want to see it do good. If it makes the top 32, I'll be so happy on that alone. But even if it makes the bounty tournaments, that could be something really exciting to see.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, Double Jeopardy, they put up a lot of footage of them shooting targets and things like that, and I'm quite impressed by the power behind the shot because it's enough to actually push Double Jeopardy back when it fires.
Oh yeah, it's
Like
a
it got
proper cannon.
recoil. So
It's a 10-pound slug of metal. This is everyone's answer to what happens if you put a gun on it. Right here, full throttle.
Yeah.
I want to
Those
see it
crazy
go.
dudes actually did it.
I don't know if it will do it, but I absolutely would love to see it go through another robot.
Oh man.
Like I
Well,
doubt
maybe
that's
like a
anything we could. Rusty.
yeah, maybe not
Rusty.
now.
Rusty in the
Rusty's
face.
still pretty sturdy. It was a pretty compact bottle
Yeah.
considered, especially what
Like
they're
I
going
like
to deal with now.
like go through the front of a robot, like full on cannonball on a pirate ship style, like hole in the front of the robot with it inside.
That'd
That
be
would
amazing.
that would be
That
amazing.
would be awesome.
I want to see some visible damage. I think there's definitely robots that
Yeah.
have those openings. Give this thing Mammoth, see what happens. See maybe
Oh, that'd
maybe it can like somehow go right through Mammoth. That would be
be
lovely.
amazing.
And no one would take too much damage. It would be fantastic. But or take out a wheel. Maybe you can take out each wheel, go like King Kong style with it.
I think it could blow a wheel off huge if it fought huge.
Oh, that's a good one. Hey, you're just kind of nimble. I don't know if it could do that. There's definitely because what do you put against Double Jeopardy? I mean, really, besides like Jaeger, because obviously they're going to give him the cluster bot.
It's gonna
Yeah.
happen. It's gotta. I'll be shocked if it isn't.
To test the multi-shot,
I
probably is why they
mean,
would do that.
do you give it Deep Six for the rematch Robo Games? Maybe I wouldn't do that. That'd be brutal. Maybe but I don't
That'd
know. It could
be
probably do some damage to that weapon. That could be a unique setting.
that'd be cool.
I don't know.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting ideas of what you could put
It's a
it
very what
against.
if kind of robot, but I
Yeah,
hope they're durable this year. That's a big thing. They kind of got chewed
I
up
want.
badly last couple
Yeah,
seasons. We're really a
I
contender.
want.
Yeah.
And there's no
I want
Science Channel
success.
this year to save them. Sorry, Ian. Didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, I want it to win. I want to see it do well.
Absolutely, same here.
Same.
It's a
The team is
favorite.
super cool. The robot's super cool. I want to see it succeed.
Absolutely,
Because
absolutely.
if this succeeds, putting projectile weapons on robots could become a thing.
Right? They could become a meta thing once we have it
It
more
could be
figured
like
out.
how
It's still
it could
mostly
be like
uncharted
how there was
territory.
100 crushers. Yeah, there's 100 crushers after Razor. There could be 100 cannon bots after Double Jeopardy.
I definitely would love just to see
And
something
meta.
new enter the play.
Yeah,
Even if it just makes the playoffs, then we'll see some more. Maybe they'll accept Broadside or whatever that one was called.
I don't remember seeing stuff about that one.
It was fairly basic. It was like a four-wheel drive cannonball. I think it was from Europe. But yeah, Double Jeopardy. Very excited about this robot. But now it's a favorite of mine, but a favorite of many, and probably one of the most successful robots last season. We're gonna move on to that right now. Now we're here talking about a longtime favorite of Robot Combat, a robot that's been around forever, coming in with a kind of a new design, something we've never really seen it. It has the new flat side, something kind of similar to Typhoon 2 of Robot Wars Series
Yeah,
7 or even Robo Games '05. I mean, has a crazy amount of achievements under the name Megabyte, and if anything in China ends up happening again, we'll probably end up seeing it fight more there. But this is Gigabyte, of course. It's entering its fourth Battlebot season. It's the legendary full body spinner, probably the best full body spinner in the world. Might even be one of the best robots in the world right now after the year it had in 2020. They figured out the one
yeah,
thing that shit. They figured out the one thing that full body spinners have always had the issue of. They're always sort of a gas cannon. They're sort of pucked around. There was no reliability. Gigabyte hasn't died. Its spinner hasn't died. Well, it died in the Hydra fight, but before that, you have to go all the way back to Huge, and the way before that, you have to go to like that January event in King of Bots. It's only died 3 times in the past 3 years. It's been crazy solid, crazy consistent, and crazy powerful lately.
Oh
yeah. I
yeah.
think Gigabyte absolutely. I think they finally are starting to kind of get dialed in a little bit for BattleBots. Um, because it had a little bit of kind of issues, like you said, with like it ricocheting and that.
Yeah,
I think they're starting to get that kind of sorted out, how to fix that. The new shell design looks interesting with the flat sides, like you said. You compared it to Typhoon. Uh,
yeah.
you can also compare it to like the Revolutionist, the old Fruit Beat, things like
hmm
that. The old tuna camp spinners of the early 2000s.
Yeah, they got rid of the lip. That's the one thing they said. They said
Yeah,
like bots, especially with drum bots, and like one
yeah,
of
they
its
catch it
upcoming opponents. Oh, for sure.
like they did with Copperhead. Big
Yeah,
problem. They did fix it though. It's completely smooth on the side now, except for the teeth. I can't wait to see how it does again.
it's gonna be
Another vert.
very
Like if it fights
fascinating.
Copperhead again. If it fights Copperhead again. Um, Gigabyte, yeah, been around forever. Megabyte, of course, Super Megabyte.
Of course, all the way back to
Uh,
Comedy Central BattleBots.
yeah, retired Biohazard, or was one of
Mhm.
Biohazard's last fights.
The very
Hmm.
first, the first one, the one everyone
Yeah,
knows, because that one, of course, no one's seen.
yeah, that was the first version. It's only gotten better. Man, it's kind of come a long way since it was Invader, huh?
It's crazy, yeah. I remember when that Vader fight happened, and you even go to like the 2017 Robo Games, it was really struggling to get out of the gate there at first.
And now it's
Like I
pretty
said,
crazy. I think it very well could be a giant nut contender this year.
I do. I was about to say that. People might think I'm crazy, but I do think it has a chance to take the title. There is one kryptonite, I would say to it. I think every horizontal spinner is going to suffer from it, but especially bots like Shredderator and Gigabyte. It's that upper deck, man. You know, they already
Yeah,
have
it
trouble
takes him
pucking
to a room,
around.
I think.
They were in trouble pucking around the arena as it was. What are they going to do now that like an eighth of the arena, maybe even a bit more than that, is getting taken up by this gulker of a thing?
It's definitely going to be a worry. I'm sure they've got plans to like get around it.
Yeah, like that. In fact, I
Cause
think that
they've known about it for months. They've
I
known
think,
that shelf was going to be there.
yeah, I think they have, I
Yeah.
think they use that guiding wedge. I think that might be a good thing just to keep the nose off of it. But we haven't seen
Yeah.
that guiding wedge in a while. Hopefully, we'll see it this year.
Yeah, that'd be cool to see. Yeah, I think Gigabyte's definitely got a good shot this year. I'm sure it'll at least make the top 32.
Oh, for
If
sure.
it gets the right matchups, it'll probably get a deep run as long as it doesn't. Because the Hydra was just a tough match for it with that
It,
wedge in the front. So
it still held its
as long
own.
as it doesn't get any like really tough matchups, like as long as it doesn't get like really hard robots like Ribot or something, I think it'll definitely do very well.
For sure.
To be fair, Hydra's a tough matchup for basically anything.
Yeah.
For sure. I mean, Hydra it's just so
Just
durable.
so
Especially it gets it every year.
it's
It's more durable. But so is
more
Gigabyte.
durable, and it's disgustingly low.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And Gigabyte, that's another thing. You see it in Tantrum too, and you even see it in bots like Mad Cat or those bots that went to China. They get those extra reps in, that extra testing. They come back and they're completely new beasts because they had that extra event, those extra fights against proper quality robots from either Europe or China, and
Oh yeah.
they come out good. I mean, Gigabyte. There's a lot of changes under the spinning dome this year. Of course, we were just talking about that Hydra fight. They just announced recently that they have a brand new version of 3D battery cases from a brand new sponsor. Because apparently that was one of the things that busted in that Hydra fight from the underside, just from the impact of the flips. That's one of those things you always never imagine a flipper being that damaging, but just from the sheer force of that flip, busted those battery cases and took out some. I think that's what ended
Oh
up
yeah.
taking out Gigabyte's spinner for that fight. So those have
yeah,
been
you drop something that heavy from that high in the air, stuff gonna shake loose and things like that.
yeah, and of course we were talking about the flat sides of Gigabyte. Of course, they still have the original shell that's on deck still. They have three shells they're bringing this year. One at 110 pounds, one at 113 pounds, and one at 119 pounds. So they have that versatility this year. They've gotten better with self-riding and reliability. I
I didn't
genuinely
know
think
about the
that
I
they're
didn't know about the 120 pounder.
yeah, I don't know which
I
one
haven't
that
seen
is.
it.
Maybe that's the one they're using in all these pictures because it definitely looks a bit more chunkier. It has that walled
Mhm.
end. Kind of reminds me of Shark Bite from back in the day because it has the black coloring, but that's just
Yeah.
nostalgia kicking in. It's a fantastic
Hello.
robot. There's been a lot of upgrades under the hood. They don't have I mean, I guess they will be there. Matt Maxim and Brett Riker, even though they're mostly doing Cobalt stuff, who we'll get to much later. But I definitely think Gigabyte's cap is top 16. And they're going to be a bounty boss, too. So, I mean, not Gigabyte's cap. That's going to be their minimum. I genuinely do believe this robot's going to go far.
Had
It's
that
gonna be...
been confirmed?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Because they
Alright.
won the Waiachi bounty.
Oh, I see. I didn't know that's how that worked.
At least I assume that's been confirmed. So now we move on to from Gigabyte, of course, a big veteran, to Lockjaw, another big time veteran here. Of course, these guys have yet to miss a Battlebots competition, and Mutant Robots, Donald Hudson, of course, at the helm. These guys are fantastic. They're always going to make a deep run to the competition, and of course it's Lockjaw again. It's the same Lockjaw we've seen, minimally changed from 2018 to now, and it's always been a proven contender. I don't think it's gone. Actually, it did top 32 last year, but the changes they make, they keep them they keep it quiet usually. They said that this is ultimately a revised version of the 2020 Lockjaw without too many changes being made to the robot. So, I mean, ultimately, you can expect this robot to always do good, especially with the spinner fork setup, Hudson in at the wheel, one of the best drivers in the sport for a long time.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
very excited to see Lockjaw. It should be a lot of fun. I mean, they always have really good fights. I mean, Donald's obviously a legend in the sport. I mean, he's like, I want to say he's the only person who's consistently been competing since like OG U.S. Robot Wars. I mean, he's
In
entered
the
in
U.S. era,
the
yeah,
US,
he never
I mean,
really
he's in
did
U.S. Robot
untelevised
Wars.
events.
No, he did. He did.
He did a
2009. He
Canal.
did 2004.
well.
Yeah, yeah,
2009 was
Root
supposed to be
Canal.
televised. 2004 was just after BattleBots. He did
He did
2005
He
event
still
because there was a
competed,
big
didn't
prize.
Yeah. He had like
Yeah, he kind of
Root
slowed down
Canal. He
midway.
had
he?
He did
a couple other things.
2011.
He competed in the one that Sub-Zero won in 2007. EC Beast
Did
was
he?
there.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Okay, I won't bury him too much then. I've always liked all Hudson,
Wow, bro.
but he's a
Learn the
fan.
lore.
I thought I was a lore keeper here, but I have some holes in
Learn
the
the Battlebot
dictionary.
lore.
I can't help myself. Holes in the encyclopedia,
all
I
over
should
the place.
say. But yeah, I mean, like I said, he's been around forever. There's probably not been. It's kind of like Team King B, Team Make Robotics in Europe. They've been consistent. They've been around the whole time, even if it's like been a bit smattered.
Yeah.
And they've always had a competitive heavyweight. They made top two. I think it was top two, if that's right, in 2009. Of course, TASBot always made a deep run. Dissector was a multi-time champion.
It won
Carcass won.
2004.
Yeah, Carcass won
Yeah.
2004. Yeah. Of course, they
It's
had
it's consistent. They made Dissector obviously won 2 championships.
yeah.
He's been around the block.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what he's doing.
They won the Bounty tournament last year. They were a former Desperado champion, so they always do good in those one-night events. They're really adaptable. They said that they're more ready than they've ever been, for 2021, which is saying a lot considering it's mutant robots.
Yeah.
Yeah, they always seem to be ready for basically anything.
Mhm.
So,
I mean,
they're
Hudson's
coming
talked
with
about it
something
before.
different.
Hudson's talked about it
Yeah.
before, with the Final Destiny fight way back in the day. He tries to watch every fight and sees what he needs to see, so he knows what to expect out of every opponent. And it's good to be observant like that. It's good to have a crew. They've always had consistent sponsors, a consistent team. They have a deal with NPC. They said they receive loads of amp flows every year for Lockjaw from them. So, I mean, it's Lockjaw. It's the same old song and dance, but it's always going to be an exciting robot. Sometimes something crazy goes down. Maybe we'll see some smoke again this year, or maybe we'll find ways into some kill saws. But
Yeah.
I think this might be the year
Maybe
to
we'll
get
see a
that
repeat of
consistency out of the way, or inconsistency, I should say, out of the way.
Shredderator fight. One of the best fights.
That was a pretty good fight. It's a shame how it ended the way it did. That was a good opening fight, though. I think that was the very first fight they recorded, too, for that year,
Mhm.
2020. But, I mean, yeah, like I said, I think it's another robot. We'll definitely see it in the bracket unless it has a rough season. I definitely don't think it's going to get the easy schedule. We'll probably see it in the main event or two.
Oh yeah.
Everyone
definitely.
knows. Everyone knows Lockjaw. Everyone knows Hudson. Everyone knows Mutant Robots. So, yeah, definitely a lot of notoriety. A lot of robots, you want to see a fight. I don't know. Has it faced Witch Doctor yet? That's a fight I would love to see.
It's not faced Witch Doctor yet.
Witch Doctor, Sawblaze, Minotaur. I think it's faced Minotaur before, but I'd like to see that ran back.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a fantastic robot. You always know what to expect from mutant robots, and yeah, Lockjaw is definitely one to watch for this year. So now we're here talking about one of the pure rookies of BattleBots. I think one of the first ones we're talking about here. This is the prodigy, somewhat, of Team Yeti, Greg Gribson, who we'll get to later. This is Riptide, of course, the egg beater drum with the lifting arms, coming from Team Break 32, who we've usually seen before if you keep up with Norwalk Havoc, with the robot Rival, who's always been a successful 3-pound robot. Of course, captained by Ethan Kurtz. Like I said, it's a pure-on rookie, but it's a very compact robot. These guys have really rallied around the whole exometry thing, and they seem really confident in this robot. Like I said, I have a lot of.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes, but I don't know. My
It's
whole
interesting
issue with
looking.
it is interesting looking. It's compact, like I said.
It makes me think of Hobgoblin.
Right,
from
Hobgoblin
Robot
is a
Yeah.
good thing.
Mhm.
Has the same arms. Looks like it's about the same consistency. Hopefully, it's going to be much more
Hopefully, it works
reliable.
better than Hobgoblin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I we've seen
Hobgoblin
the
has some issues.
testing. It can knock some stuff pretty far. It can do some good ripping and tearing damage out of that good egg beater style spinner on board. Kind of worried about that weapon shaft. Looks like it's a bit exposed. But
Yeah.
my big thing about this whole exometry thing that they talk about is their main sponsor. They based a lot around it. They've done interviews putting it over, and it's a really cool thing. How you can get stuff shipped to you quickly, and it's cheap and it's affordable. But they said this is a majority of the robot has been made out of this stuff, and I don't know how I feel about that. I'm not saying it's like a cheap alternative, but like I don't know. It seems like it's still a bit unproven. I've never heard of this stuff before.
Yeah.
These guys have came
What
into the
does
scene.
the amateur stuff?
I know exometry. Yeah, this is where they
I've
get a
never
lot
heard of that
stuff.
either.
Maybe it's nice, and it's just
I
like it's gonna open
yeah,
people's eyes.
I
hmm
figured it was like a.
I mean, provide some
I
good
thought it
supply.
was.
They said they're coming in with 3-hole egg beater spinners, all from them, and majority
I
of this
thought it was
robot
like
was made on that.
a CAD alt. I thought it was like a CAD alternate, but I didn't know that it built like physical things. Is it supposed to be like a 3D print type thing? What is it?
I'm not exactly sure how the company works. I think it's something where like you send it and they have their own people that like design it and ship it to you fairly quickly.
I see. Yeah, it might do well. I mean, this is the first time they've ever competed in BattleBots.
Yeah, I mean, they said that they're so confident. I mean, the exometry plans to like expedite extra things that they might need midway through the season. So maybe
That
we'll
might be
take that in action.
pretty good.
So yeah, it
Might
might
be
be pretty
good.
good. These guys might be well stocked. They might have an infinite amount. I mean, obviously not infinite money, but I mean they have a
Yeah,
chance. It's a
if
tried and
geometry
proven design.
quick, if it's quick and it's good quality stuff, that could change a lot of people having issues with spares, running out of spares midway through a season.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that's a good point.
Like Yeti that one year.
hmm That was
Like
real
Yeti
good.
did that one year.
I mean, it's changed a lot though the season since then. Teams know that you're gonna have to at least fight, 2 to 4 fights to try to get into the playoffs. You gotta do a
Yeah.
whole lot. But like I said, it's a proven design. This team has that track record. This is one of those first teams we've seen since like Pain Train to me show that Norwalk's kind of acting like a bit of a qualifier now. Successful teams are coming out of there, making the step up, and I don't
Which is
know.
pretty cool.
We saw it in the preview a little bit. Nothing you could really make out of that, but
Yeah.
it's to have some real potential, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited for it. I mean, it looks really nice. It's nice and sleek. 'Cause I'm just a sucker for egg beater spinners. Like it's just
Yeah, you don't see too
something
many
that
of them on heavyweights.
No, not at
yeah,
all.
like
It's more of
I'm
a
all
lighter
for a
weight.
new egg beater like all day, every day. I
Yeah, the
mean,
last one was
well, it looks,
Railgun, and that one good.
oh yeah, Railgun was my second favorite robot that season, so I
Railgun
was all
rules.
for it. Yeah, I hope they come back. But yeah, I think as long as Riptide can keep it together and they're reliable, I think that they could easily be a top 32 candidate. So guess we'll just have
Yeah,
to see.
definitely one of the better looking rookies. Like one of
Yeah,
the higher level rookies. The interesting thing.
a lot of potential. Like we talked about with Greg Munson. He's there. He's mentoring them. He says he's going to be kind of watching over them in the pits, and
Yep.
they have a lot of potential. We'll have to see how it goes. Like I said, I think it's either going to go really well or really poorly for them. I can see them going up to the top 16. You usually don't see rookies
Yeah,
making it too far, but this could easily also be a robot that kind of ends up like Tracer last year. A lot of hype behind it, but ends up eating it and not even really coming close to doing much of anything in the regular season or the bounties. But I guess we'll just have to see. So here we go. Now we're jumping into Tantrum, one of the final 4 robots from the 2020 season we just had. Of course, it's a robot that's always been a deliverer. We saw it dominate in King of Bots 2019. Like I said, it just came off the really good Battlebots season. New captains this year, Ginger Schmidt and Alex Grant, the original members of the Tantrum team that are now taking over Tantrum as Aaron Hill is, of course, now on Team Blip. Of course, powerful weapon. It looked really good in the previews. Looks like you're gonna have a tough schedule, but it's gonna be a fantastic robot to see in action.
Yeah, it
uh,
having a new captain kind of worried me a little bit though.
Yeah,
Like, I don't know
that's
about that.
fair. I think it might be the
It's kind
same
of
driver
worrying.
though. I mean, maybe not the same driver. Oh, it's the weapons operator, I
Aaron Hill
believe.
drove it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the weapons
So I
operator.
guess we'll see if the new guy's is like as good as Aaron Hill. Because last year, by the time it hit the top 4, I was 100% convinced Tantrum was winning the Giant Nut.
Oh
Like
yeah, they were making that Death Roll
I
run.
I fully
Yeah.
believed by the end of that season that Tantrum was winning.
Yeah, I knew. Like, Tantrum was always underrated, especially by Chris Rose of all people. I love Chris Rose, but even like I remember when he did the COVID BattleBots video with Team Witch Doctor. He buried
That's
Tantrum
social
in the
distancing.
video. Yeah, he said, "Oh, look, it's Tantrum. His weapon's gonna do nothing as usual." And I was like, "Wow, Chris,
Damn.
my boy doesn't watch
Damn,
no
bro.
King of Bots. You have to get all gatekeepy here, pushing up the glass."
Yeah, but it came back after the boxing champion run. It was real.
It was for
It
real. It
got
had
real.
it could have been 3-0, should have been 3-0, but it had those first round gremlins that a lot of those teams have. Valkyrie snuck
Yeah.
away with that one. I mean, it looks like it packs a real punch this season.
Come a long way from barely beating Battle Royale with cheese.
Yeah, the team has talked about last year was all about making the drivability better, drive reliability better. Sorry, and this year was all about making the weapon reliability better. So we'll see. I mean, that was their prime focus. This team has been very adept. They always make good moves. They've been working on two whole robots, and they have a big team. They'll probably make those changes. I mean, I love Seems Reasonable. They're sponsored by Johnson and Johnson this year, which is a pretty big deal.
And Blip is too.
Yeah, but and they're also entering this year with a mini bot. So is Lockjaw. We forgot to bring that up earlier with the rotary lifter, but I don't think we know anything, do we, about Tantrum's mini bot this year?
I haven't heard anything.
Yeah, I have not heard.
Yeah, same here. We do know that the flamethrowers will be back in certain configurations, but and the Tantrum itself was also designed to be more serviceable for post-fight changes, which is a good thing. A lot of the event is in the pits, so you got to have a good robot that's easy to make changes with, easy to get out there. We already know Tantrum's like very compact, so I'm fascinated to see how they managed to do that with the inner workings of the machine this year, because they have been fairly quiet. There hasn't been too much info. Of course, they were obviously super secretive about Blip, but yeah, they have been pretty quiet about Tantrum as well this year.
Yeah, the Tantrum team always has kind of a history of like being really cryptic. Even when they revealed the puncher initially, like they didn't really reveal what it was until the last second.
Yeah, but I mean, you know what to expect with Tantrum. I mean, we know it's gonna last a while. We know it's gonna probably make a good run. I certainly don't see it going any shorter than the top 16. Maybe we'll see it in the bounty bracket this year. So that would be pretty exciting. And it has good punching power. Maybe even has UDA potential if we can get a robot in that one corner. Might be able to make use of the shelf. It's one of those robots I could see getting high center though on the shelf, especially being so compact. You know.
Yeah, totally. I agree.
It's gonna be good.
I don't think it's gonna have the Cinderella run it had last season, but I do think it's gonna definitely secure a lot of nice wins.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard to top what it did last year for sure. It's always hard to come off those crazy runs, but I definitely think it's gonna be a competent robot. Maybe even a championship contender again. Maybe they will find a way to either equal or capitalize on that. And I certainly wouldn't be against it. I love Tantrum. I love seeing a real robot that has really risen. Back in 2018, it was properly one of the bottom feeders of the event. They pretty much made a joke out of Battle Royale with Cheese and Tantrum in that very first fight. But a lot has changed, like I said. 2019 wasn't even a terrible year for it. I just think it was underrated and undervalued just because it was kind of average. But yeah, I definitely look forward
Yeah.
to Tantrum this year. So here we go. We're moving on to a technically a newcomer, a robot we were supposed to see in 2020. Far from a newcomer team, though. It's a brand new robot, though, with a lot of brand new concepts. It's a Triple Crown, the three-wheeled, potentially three-weapon, we don't really know yet, design. It has the little flippy, might be a lifter, but it's likely just a hinged wedge. It has the small horizontal two-spinner. It looks really cool. I know that people from the Philippines and the Czech Republic have been fans of it because it kind of looks like their flag. But it's a fantastic robot, of course. If you know the captain, you know what's up, especially if you know robot combat. It's Todd Medlinhall. This is the guy behind Panzer who had in my opinion, probably one of the 5 best heavyweights in the classic era. Obviously Triple Crown is a very far shout from that. It shows off a lot of new concepts, especially with the brand new three-wheeled swerve drive, which when Adam Wrigley, who drives Shatter, is saying that it's a crazy drive system, it's a crazy drive system.
Yep. That's for
Oh
sure.
yeah.
Yeah, this is from the team that, like you said, made Panzer. They're Robotica champions.
Robot
They're
Wars champions.
Robot Wars champions as well. Battlebots, the only one stopping them, hence the name Triple Crown.
Yep, that's why it's
Tom
named that.
Mendenhall. Yep. He's going for his Triple Crown of the 3 major robot shows. He's actually the only one in the world that can achieve that.
I think Endgame's there as well.
Combot.
That's still
Endgame
competing.
and Cobalt.
I know, but there's no Robotica anymore.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind
Unlike,
of like it's kind of like the old school and the new school WWE Grand Slam titles. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know. I guess you could count Norwalk nowadays as like being
Nah,
Robotica, but
it's
either
got to
way.
be a heavyweight event.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, Tom Mendenhall is a maniac. He always has been with his designs. He's always had some
Absolutely.
crazy stuff going on. Whether it's this or Super Heavyweight Duma Babylon or any of the other
Tomb
things
of
he's made,
Babylon, Sean Salisbury's favorite robot.
somehow.
We got Minion, we got Toro, we got Doom of Babylon.
Truly,
that.
the 4 pillars. But this thing is insane looking. There was rumors that it was like made. Isn't this the robot that was allegedly like illegal?
Yeah, it was.
'Cause it used, like,
So here's the
government
crazy
tech.
story. Yeah, it was. Let me pull it up right here so I don't botch the story.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
its
the
design
story
was
of
supposed to be. Here you go. I'll let you do it, Pory.
Take
The
over.
story is basically he had a potential contract with Triple Crown with the U.S. military, but like if it competed in BattleBots and they decided to buy it, like he couldn't legally sell it to them because they would be contractually obligated to BattleBots. But then it kind of snowballed into people thinking that like Triple Crown was like a weapon of mass destruction or something.
Yeah,
but I don't think
something
that's
like
the
that.
case. I think it's just I think it's just like him looking out for him, kind of.
I think-
I see.
I think the whatever military concept was, I think it had more to do with the drive than any weaponry, for sure.
Yeah.
Because it's a very unique system. You know, it has a chance to potentially be, if Robotica was still around, this probably may have had a pretty good robot for it. Looks like it has the good ground clearance, has good maneuverability. If Todd knows how to drive it, I'm sure he's had plenty of practice. Who knows how long this robot's been built?
It's been at least a couple years.
You know, that horizontal spinner, it's small, but it does look chunky. Has a chance to take bites out of robots, but whatever that metal is surrounding the wheels, things like that, there's a lot of small parts on this robot. I do worry. You know, you give it a robot like a Valkyrie, or like an undercutter, like a rotator, or even another full body spinner. Yeah, I don't know how that robot's gonna hold up. Hopefully, it can make it through that full season. There's no Rumbles this year. This robot would have been a great robot for Rumbles, but seems like it's going to have to go in one-on-one. And I mean, Todd's a veteran driver. You know he's going to stand out. He's going to do well in that regard. But I hope the robot can hold up for a whole 3-fight season. I'd love to see it make the playoffs, but it would definitely be tricky, I think.
I just want to see it work. I want to see this robot moving and existing.
Right?
After all the legends around its existence, I want to see it real.
Has that
like,
helicopter
work.
energy.
Yeah. All the legends of, oh my god, it's a weapon of mass destruction, or, oh, there's classified military tech inside of it, and all those, like, urban legends around it. I want to see it work.
Seriously, I want to see this thing drive around. I want to see how it acts. I want to see maybe you can make use of the geometry of the upper deck. You know, find way into like one of the little crannies and play a bit of defense. Maybe run into some of its old opponents. You know, we know C2 Robotics is back, of course, helping with Yeti. Maybe have that rematch from the top 16 and 5.0. That would be something exciting. You know, 2 modern robots with a bunch of old school influence. There's definitely a little robot. Go ahead. Sorry.
I want to see a fight Shredderator.
Shredderator would be really good. To
Robot Wars and Warriors match.
And Robotica. I mean, they didn't meet in Robotica, but they were both there.
I'm pretty sure they met in Extreme Warriors.
They did. That was, I think that was the grand final of the first U.S. championship they had.
Yeah, Panzer and Revolutionist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Panzer was always a fantastic robot. Absolutely love that robot. And Triple Crown, you know, there's a lot of build behind it. Hopefully they give us some control bots, because I don't want to see this poor robot get torn up. And, you know, there's not much about it. In fact, it's not even on the website. Maybe that's changed. since I last looked, but as far as I know, it's still not on the website, and that has raised some eyebrows. From what I've heard, it does indeed fight this season, but we'll just have to see what ends up happening. So here we are. We're talking about the last robot in our SoCal region. This is Whiplash, of course, the reigning runner-up of Battlebots 2020, coming at us, of course, from Team Fast Electric Robots, who we just talked about, with a Defender. This is their main robot, of course, being ran by Matt Vasquez, with Jeff Vasquez looking over him. And one of the best drivers in Battlebots today, might even be in the world, as some people might argue. Whiplash always finds a way to get into those little nooks and crannies and robots,
controlled from
tear away,
beginning to
flip
end.
them over,
So if it ain't
finesse
broke,
them. I mean,
don't
it's
fix
one of the
it.
best tactical
Matt
drivers
Vasquez
in the whole
doesn't
sport,
see any
definitely.
reason to deviate from the plan that worked oh so well last time, Kenny. And our premier Flipperbot at the time,
not a lot that you can
Bronco,
really say
and he
about
ended up
Whiplash
winning a
anymore, 'cause
relatively
he's kind of
easy
already
decision here.
proven
Now,
everything
Matt
about
Vasquez
himself.
came out and
Especially the last couple seasons, came runner-up last year.
Yeah.
And I know I personally was voting for it over Endgame, but that's just me.
Yeah.
Same.
Oh man,
And,
I was going for Endgame. I won't lie.
yeah, I'm sure you were, but yeah, it was super cool because like they had the footage of little baby Matt Vasquez driving around the little lamp weight in his living room, the home video. Yeah, Matt Vasquez been around a lot longer than people might think. He was around in the original CC era with Matt Bammer, which was just a spinner with a baseball bat on top of it. I remember right.
Yeah, and Deadbot,
Yeah,
Robotica
all
Finals
about
Deadbot.
that.
Hey, the finals is a middleweight, which is really impressive.
Mhm.
But
it's like Deadbot.
yeah, I guess the question here is if this is the year that it goes all the way.
I think it has a
Very well
chance.
said.
They made changes to the robots since last year. They've talked about them on podcasts and such. They said that the spinner now has a brushless motor in it. And they said they don't think it's going to be a game changer, but it's going to provide more power, potentially more reliability. They have many new armor and lifter configurations for a lot of robots. They said that they're of course keeping that to the sleeve. They're not showing off those yet. We'll see those in the main season. So they're going to be versatile, as they always are. They always find a way to somehow even be better. So yeah, I mean, if you don't think they're going to at least make top 8, I'd be shocked if they make any less.
yeah.
It's terrifying how good they
I
are.
agree.
Throw the
Absolutely.
shelf at them, literally. But I don't know. Speaking of the shelf, they're probably going to make great use of the upper deck. You know that they will. They're going to be very tactical with it, just like Defender's probably going to be. Maybe even more with Matt Vasquez because he's such a good driver.
I'm sure he's already looked over that thing a million times trying to figure out different ways to use it.
Right, especially with the screw setup. I mean, it's a fantastic robot. They got 2 fully ready Whiplashes set for 2021. Maybe even have a bunch of spares on top of that. You know that they're going to be there. You know they're going to have a presence. You know they're going to be in multiple main events, and they're going to be definitely one of the teams to look out for. Yeah, I have big trouble seeing them, not making a deep run.
Yeah.
Thank you for sticking around till the end of this very early portion of the 2021 Battlebots Preview. Hopefully you've been enjoying what you're seeing here at the Combot Collective, as we only promise to keep developing this little studio area we have set up here. Obviously there's a lot that needs to be done still, but with every week we want to keep making this little spot better. As we begin finishing off these California regions in the Battlebots Preview, we will dive more into the continental United States, as we will be doing our western and northern regions after we finish these 2 episodes. As we carry along here, you can keep following us as always on Facebook, Instagram, and on our Discord server. And you can keep watching and listening on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many other places you can find your shows. This has been Sterling Brown in the brand new studio here, and you can find me on Instagram at SterlingTXTG, and you can look out for me in early 2022 with my second podcast, PhD in Bullshit, that I'm doing with my best friend. And you can find TaskMaster Yin on his blog, Beyond the Battlebox, where he covers classic Battlebots episodes. And you can find PoryNog on his own YouTube channel, www.dippy.xyz, where he recently hit 500 subscribers. So we're super happy for him here, and hopefully we can keep seeing his channel growing. And yes, this wraps up the California-fied 2021 parts of our Battlebots preview here. Credit to Supplement for her outro music as always, and thank you. We are out of here, and we will see you again.
This was the Combot Collective. Find us on Instagram and Discord.